Sony's PlayStation was the undisputed king of the 5th generation of consoles, and it hosted a huge library of games. Many great titles fell beneath the mainstream radar due to the sheer number, and one of my favourites was Thrasher, Skate and Destroy. It was the other skateboarding game that released a few weeks after Tony Hawk's Skateboarding, so arrived with minimal fanfare as a result. This video has a closer look at the game and why I believe it's a cult classic. Skate and Destroy was developed as a PlayStation exclusive by Z-Axis Games, who had a short pedigree in sports titles since their creation in '94. It's one of very few games that Rockstar just published rather than develop as well, although this was only for the PAL and North American releases. Web Systems published the game in Japan, perhaps due to their success with the first two Cool Boarders games on the PlayStation. The game is named after the self-proclaimed Skateboarder's Bible, Thrasher magazine from San Francisco. It was instrumental in the resurgence of American skateboarding culture during the 80s, and Z-Axis uses urban settings and an authentic soundtrack to capture this spirit. This separated the game from its contemporaries, which were the arcade-like and pop-sounding Street Skater from EA and the heavily licensed and millennial-sounding Tony Hawk's Skateboarding from Activision, with both of those games having a more conventional style compared to Skate and Destroy. The game has 12 stages that you progress through by completing some genuinely difficult high score challenges. You earn new tricks and clothes from sponsors along the way, and each area is set in a real-world location that's loosely based on the landscape and aesthetics you would expect to find there. From San Francisco's hills to the riverside at London's South Bank, Z-Axis succeeded in creating realistic locations that all have a strong sense of identity. Skate and Destroy has a very difficult control scheme that certainly costs some audience to the more intuitive playstyle of Tony Hawk's, but once you're accustomed to it, putting together a clean run is incredibly satisfying. And it helps that there's a playful sense of humour throughout the whole game, with amusing physics and ragdoll animations, and a fantastic gimmick where a police officer or mugger will chase you from an area at the end of your timed run. It's small touches like this that create Skate and Destroy's unique appeal.
Keep running, punk!
While the graphics are perfectly functional with a solid frame rate, the defining characteristic of this game was the awesome soundtrack. It plays like a who's who of rap music, including the Sugar Hill Gang, Public Enemy, A Tribe Called Quest, and lots more. The iconic music cements the time and place of Skate and Destroy, and it makes the game feel like a period piece, in the same way the famous soundtracks of Rockstar's GTA series put those games in a historical context. Where Vice City feels like a love letter to the 80s gangster film, Skate and Destroy does the same for the golden age of hip-hop. The game has aged pretty well and actually feels quite ahead of its time, with weighty physics-based animations, a floaty camera, and magazine shoots that all feel like a precursor to EA's Skate series. By just having high score challenges, it actually feels more focused on skateboarding itself compared to Tony Hawk's. So it's a shame that Z-Axis couldn't create a counter-franchise, especially as it was marketed as a hardcore sim in the gaming press. A series could have focused more on representing skateboarding culture itself, rather than just raising the spectacle of the gameplay. Although Skate and Destroy wasn't that well received by the gaming press, Z-Axis developed more extreme sports titles until Activision rather ironically acquired them in 2002. After being rebranded as Underground Development in 2008, they were closed just 2 years later while developing a third-person Call of Duty title that never saw completion. Skate and Destroy kind of lived on in the Dave Mirra Freestyle BMX series, probably Z-Axis' most famous games, as the first game ran on an upgraded version of the Skate and Destroy engine. There was even a Game Boy Color port in development that must have been close to completion, as previews appeared in magazines and websites at the time. This never saw release either, but it looked similar to the Game Boy Color version of Dave Mirra Freestyle BMX developed by Neon Studios. Aside from emulation, the only way to play the game now is by tracking down an original copy on PlayStation 1, and I highly recommend you do so, especially if you're a fan of the Skate series. It offers a glimpse at a different path the skateboarding subgenre could have made had Tony Hawk's not been so hugely successful. And for a bit of fun, check out skateanddestroy.com, where the game's original website from '99 is still being hosted, so massive respect to Rockstar for that. Thanks for watching, and thank you Z-Axis for this cult classic.